All right. Welcome back to the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. With me is my co host, Matt. Tonight, we have a special guest, Coach Jose Licon. I said that right. Who's the offensive coordinator at Hugeton High School out there in Kansas. Coach, welcome to the Board Drill.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, it's not live. What are we doing, Kyle? There we are. There we go. Oh, it's been a while. So if you're listening, we thought we were going to be done with the season for doing podcasts, but Coach reached out and I was like, yeah, we can slide one more podcast in. And then he said the magic word, Coach, we can do it on Midline. And I said, not only can we not slide this in, we have to shoot this because it's on Midline. So Coach, super excited to hear about Midline tonight. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to share your screen. I know you got a presentation. While he's sharing his screen, make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube. If you don't mind, go ahead and like and subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Substack. It's boarddrill.com. And if you do that, you're able to get all of our articles weekly right to your inbox, all of our videos, our podcast, our 10-minute quick hits that we're going to be doing all throughout the season. So again, for all of our content, the easiest way, subscribe at boarddrill.com and also follow us on Twitter at boarddrill. Coach, no further ado, go ahead and take it away. Let's talk some Midline.
Kyle, is this our first triple option episode?
I think it is.
I think it is.
Our
I think
first
we're
triple.
about to tap into like some secret society of people that they're just going to come out of the woodwork now. This is going to be great. I'm
First,
excited.
we made that TikTok about wing T coaches, and that blew up. And now here we go. We got triple options. So I'm
real
excited.
Football here.
All right, Coach. Let's hear it.
There's definitely like a cult following out here in Kansas about Flexbone and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll get some new guys, some new viewers. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a little bit about us and what we do, and then I'll get into the midline and some film to show you guys. So a little bit about me. I actually graduated from Hugeton High School in 2013. I went on to play at Garden City Community College. It's pretty close by. It's a junior college. Played there for 2 years, and then I went on to play at Tabor College, which is a NAIA school here in Kansas as well. We ran the Flexbone there. I actually ran the split back Veer and the Flexbone in high school. Yeah. And then when I went to Garden, we were more pro style and stuff like that. But I got a lot of Flexbone before I started coaching, so that helped out a lot. A little bit about Hugeton. We're in southwestern Kansas. It's a small agricultural town, lots of farming, lots of ranching. Population's around 3,700. It kind of dips or it'll raise every once in a while, but we're usually around a little bit less than 4,000 people. We compete in 3A football here in Kansas. We are in the GWAC conference, the Great West Activities Conference, and we've been Flexbone for the last 3 years. This will be our 4th year. The last 3 years, we've been 6-3, pretty much losing to kind of the same team. So we're looking to get over that hump and try to make a run doing what we do. Before 2022, we were pretty much averaging 4-5, 4-6, below 500 type seasons. And luckily, our head coach let me make the change to Flexbone, and it's been really, really good to us. I'm going to continue here. A little bit about our philosophy. So we're not a traditional under center Flexbone team. We operate out of the short pistol, and our quarterback is at about 2.5 yards. He may get a little bit deeper or a little bit shorter depending on the play call. I had my very first quarterback in this system. He usually operated around 2 yards, but we're pretty consistent at about 2.5 yards, and you'll see that in the film here in a bit. We want to be a fast, physical, downhill running game. The biggest thing that we talk about all the time is we want to stay on schedule.
Yeah.
So negative plays are a big no-no for us. We want to be in 2nd and 7, 3rd and 3 situations. We have this saying that I stole from a coach in Illinois, but he was saying 3 + 3 + 3 equals 10. And I know that doesn't make much sense, but it makes sense if you're talking about football. We want to be okay getting 3 to 4 yards every play. And then we do throw the ball every once in a while. We have lots of play action type stuff. We want to run for first downs, but we want to throw for touchdowns and big plays.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing is we want to set ourselves up to throw the ball when we want to, not when we have to. And that's part of staying on schedule and not having negative plays. And then ultimately, the biggest thing, in my opinion, for us is we want to win the time of possession. Over here to the right of this slide, you'll see our big five. We're a big zone dive team. Everything starts with our zone dive. We run midline a lot. We'll run a midline double and we'll run a midline triple. My presentation is mainly going to focus on the triple. We'll run inside Veer triple option as well, belly, and then rocket toss. And then we have a bunch of other complements that we run, but these 5 plays are kind of what our offense is centered around. So getting into the mid triple, I'll just get into the rules and then I'll kind of talk about it. The midline runs directly through the center's butt. Some Flexbone coaches may teach it a little bit differently, but we're aiming directly at the center's butt. Our fullback's aiming right at his butt. I try to joke with them a little bit. If we're running midline to the right, I'm telling him aim for his right butt cheek. If we're running it to the left, aim for his left butt cheek. But I'm trying to stay as vertical as possible. I have this diagram here at the bottom. It's just against a base 4-4 team, and we get this look a lot out here in Kansas, a lot of even fronts. So our dive key is going to be the first person head up or outside of the play side guard. So a 2-tech is going to be the tightest read. If they're anything tighter than a 2 technique, if they're in a 1, we're going to block him down, ace that, combo that up to backer, and then we'll read the next person outside of him. The dive key, if the dive key sits or runs upfield, that automatically equals a give to the fullback. And then our pitch key is going to be the first player head up or outside of the play side tackle. Usually it's a D end, but it can be kind of a walked up hybrid outside linebacker and players like that, depending on what kind of defense you're facing, if it's an odd front, things like that.
Coach, real quick,
yes, sir.
Let's go back to this because I know this is very thing. How do you define him sitting? Right? We all know running upfield, but you know what is when you're talking to your quarterback and you're like, "Hey, he's sitting here." What are you trying to explain to him is happening on the field?
Yeah, so we're kind of looking at his shoulders. If he turns his shoulders toward the fullback, he's pretty much taking him, so he can pull. If his shoulders stay kind of horizontal to the line of scrimmage, he's kind of just slow playing and sitting, so he can hand that off, and usually he won't make a play on that dive, if that makes sense.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. That's where I thought you were going with it. But
yeah,
for people listening, right, it hits so fast right down that midline. So like you said, when they stay square, they're an arm tackle at bat. Like the best case scenario is the guy is so strong he can arm tackle you. But the most likely scenario is he reaches an arm out there and your fullback just goes right through it.
And that's kind of what I want to get into here at the top right, talking about the short pistol. You know, a lot of Flexbone guys don't really like running it out of the pistol or even the short pistol just because they think, you know, trap midline doesn't hit as fast. And they're probably right. It doesn't hit as fast. But I think we don't get as many give reads under center. But we do get a lot more QB keeps and pitches. And we'll see that on the film here in a sec. But I think that kind of cancels out that kind of negative of that midline not hitting as fast.
Yeah.
And it's a plus for us, and it hasn't made us want to get out of that. So some variations that I'm going to talk about, you know, this is our base set here in this diagram, but we can run it out of different formations, different motions. A big thing that I've gone into the last year is running midline with no motion. So that kind of keeps the defense on their toes and it doesn't let them key on anything. And it usually gives us a step ahead of that defense. And if we get a pitch to the outside, you know, we're getting to the outside a lot quicker than that defense is. And one thing I really like working on is changing the cadence up during a game and going on first sound. So running mid-triple on first sound. And if it's a pitch to the outside, those guys are going to be really late to that.
It's just nightmare fuel, Coach. The more you talk about this, changing the formation, running midline without a motion guy, and then going on first sound. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, God.
So like here in this diagram, this is kind of the base way most Flexbone teams run the midline triple. They'll get this little zipper motion, and then he'll block this outside linebacker to the outside in this alley. And then if it is a pitch, we're trying to hit this alley right here. With no motion, it keeps them on their toes. This play right here, it almost turns into midline's almost like a counter play, because you get that counter motion with that slot back. And, we run our counter option a lot like this. The only thing that changes is the quarterback opens up opposite and then returns to the counter side. So, any questions on any of this?
Yeah, Coach, you talked about a little bit of the timing difference there between being under center and being in the short pistol.
Yeah.
And I know I tried to run this out of a pistol version. I wasn't at 2.5 yards. We weren't quite that close. But I know with the timing, offensive line spacing matters. As an offensive line coach, that's something I always looked into. Like do you increase your splits? What kind of splits are you looking for from your offensive linemen?
Yeah, so I actually coached the offensive line, even as the OC. I played offensive line in college. I was mostly a guard. And so offensive line is big for me, especially in an offense like this. I like to have big splits. There'll be some Flexbone teams, and we actually play a Flexbone team that has huge 4 feet splits. But we try to stay consistent to 2.5 to 3 feet. And then if they get into an odd front, we may cut the guard split down a little bit and then extend the tackles splits out a little bit more. And that'll just, increase those gaps a little bit for us.
Okay.
Love it.
So I'm going to stop sharing this. Go
Coach,
ahead.
one more follow-up with that while you're pulling that up. If you seeing a dude on the other side of the field, let's say they got a 3 technique that, you're trying to attack the 3 technique with this, but he's a dude. Are you increasing the split? Are you changing anything with the split with that?
Even if he's a dude, he has to make a decision. And I'm going to trust my quarterback. If we're running midline to a 3 technique, he's getting left unblocked. So he's either going to have to crash down and take the dive, or he's going to run upfield. If he runs upfield, then we're handing it off. If he crashes down, quarterback's keeping it, and then he's getting into a second phase of his option. I wish I had a better answer than that, but we faced some really good defensive linemen.
Yeah.
And leaving them unblocked helps us out a lot.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna base block them every play, because I just don't have the guys to do that. We will base block them every once in a while, and we'll mess around with our complement plays, but if they have better players than us, then we're just going to read them.
All right, Coach, we always used to face a team that always had a monster 3 technique every year down here, and midline was our best play out of gun. I mean, the best thing to do against one of those 3 techniques is to not block them, make a decision, just like you're saying.
Yeah. And, about 80 to 90% of the time, what ends up happening is we just get double crashes. So that D tackle and that DN will both just crash down, and then it just ends up being a quick pitch. And you'll see a lot of that in this film. You'll see a lot of quick pitch, and then you'll see some quarterback keeps. I'm really not sure if there's any give reads in these clips that I've selected. I probably should have done that, but most of the time it's either going to be a pitch or a quarterback keep.
Yeah.
So stop me if you have any questions when I go through this. I have 18 clips in this, so I'll try to try to go a little bit quicker. So yeah, this if you see this D lineman, he crashes down hard, takes the quarterback, and luckily he gets the pitch off, and everybody is just walled off right here. And the only guy in the radius is about 15 yards downfield playing safety.
Coach, you guys use a lot of that squeeze formation?
Yeah, so I like running it out of this condensed set just because it condenses the defense too. And then if it's a pitch, it makes it really hard for them to be able to cover that.
Yeah, it's good stuff out of that squeeze right there.
Yes, sir. Here's it out of our base set. Again, no motion, and then just pitching. So this guy was actually one of those dude types that you're talking about, just a freak of nature. Is actually going to, I think, Pittsburgh State maybe, out here in Kansas.
The
but
Gorillas, baby.
Really good player, and he was messing up our guys all the time. But again, just a good pitch read here. Again, we have to be happy with 3 to 4 yards, and I'm very much content with that.
I'm still amazed at this.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
I'm saying I'm still amazed at how good and crisp this snap is from 2.5 yards and how just efficient you guys look with it. I can imagine what would happen with some teams we had in the past that's going off the quarterback's nuts or something, and it's going the other way.
I'm glad you asked that because that was my next question, Coach. What are you teaching the center? Like, how are you teaching the center with this snap, with it being so close? Like, I feel like there's not a lot of room for error.
Yeah, so it can't be super hard. And we do have some mishaps every once in a while. And I don't teach anything in specific. Some people, teach that kind of Patriot snap where they're just holding the tip of the ball, or they'll do a two-handed snap. I've had 2 centers in this offense. This is my second center, and I just like them to be comfortable. And they just need to understand that the quarterback's 2.5 yards behind you. It can't be super hard. It can't be high, and it needs to be in that perfect spot. So the way we kind of combat that is just reps. Just getting as many snaps as possible. We get snaps in the summer. Just as many reps as possible, and just get them into that sync that they need to be in to be able to run this offense at a high level.
Okay, next question, Coach. Sorry. I'm going to have a lot of questions with this.
Yes, sir.
Looks like you have an A-gap defender for this play.
Yeah.
So what looks to be a 4 or a 5 technique out there, I guess, becomes the quarterback read for the dive?
Yeah.
Is that the way you're going to play it, or how you guys doing that?
Because technically this is an odd front. They're playing kind of like a 3-5 here with these 2 walked up linebackers. What we were doing is we were just blocking down on this one technique, and then it almost turned into an automatic pitch most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Because you're assuming that linebacker's filling B gap.
Yeah,
right?
And then that D end seems like he was taking quarterback most of the game. So it was mostly an automatic give, but we did have some quarterback keeps in this game, and I think this next clip shows that. Yeah, this is actually a touchdown.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's when you get that, whatever it is, it feels like it was a tight front. It's hard to tell from here, or pair maybe.
Yeah.
But
one thing I like about all of our kind of outside pitch plays, even with like rocket toss, it's an outside play, yes, but I tell my guys to get vertical as quickly as possible
Yeah.
Because these guys on defense, they're gonna flow super hard to that outside. And if you get your foot in the ground and you get vertical, most of the time, things like what's gonna happen to the safety are gonna happen.
Yeah. Can
No, I
you go
think
back and slow play that, Coach?
Yeah. It's just a great example of getting the kick on the edge here and then reading that 4-eye or
And I tell
3-tech
my
or whatever
guys,
it
like
is.
my slots, I call it my H and Z. They're not like super big guys. I tell them you don't have to kill these outside linebackers, and you're not going to kill them. You just got to get in their way, and if they don't make the play, then you won.
Yeah.
Roll it all the way back to the beginning one more time. Sorry.
You're good.
I got to see linebacker flow here.
Well, it's also a good job of the offensive tackle not flying upfield and being patient with the linebacker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have their guy that they need to be going to. It seems like these guys were really, really concerned about playing their gaps, and then they were relying on these outside and the safety to fill that alley.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this is midline. I love it. I've killed on it as a DC, and I've had a lot of fun when we called it as an OC. So
same game. I think in this game we ran midline probably like 17 times.
yeah, and they keep kind of moving around this odd front. Like this time, it looks like they're in a.
Yeah,
like this guy looks like he's in a 5 over here. Maybe he's in 4-eye.
They're kind of in like a shade on the backside,
and then like a 4-eye on the other.
Yeah,
Jesus.
he could have almost given this too. But again, I'm not going to be mad with 8 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another game, and this is going to be a quarterback keep. This is against a really, really good team. They made it to the semis this year. They're in our conference, and we play in a very tough conference. And that's kind of the hill that we need to get over, is to beat teams like this, because consistently we've been 6-3 the last 3 years. So this is a team that we're looking to beat. And they had a massive defensive line, just good athletes too.
Coach, what are you teaching quarterback footwork wise? Are you trying to clear that midline and get him back off of it, or are you just teaching him to open up?
Yeah, so that's the thing, with under center versus short pistol, we're just pivoting. Like he's just pivoting and he's staying in the same spot. He's getting into his read. Most of the time, he replaces the dive key and attacks the pitch key and then gets downhill. We want to be downhill when we get a pitch off. You see the quarterback here, he's getting downhill. I mean, if he wanted to, he probably could have pitched this too. But he sees that lane and he's a stud. He was our lead rusher this past year, had over 1,000 yards and at quarterback. So
stick the foot and go, baby.
Yeah.
And I think this is really good, because really they're stunting here, or maybe they're not stunting, but it appears like they are, right? Because their tackle and end are both working to the inside gaps here.
Yep.
So
yeah,
you guys, quarterback does a good job of reading this. Just nice, easy pull and take it off.
This is so talking about formations. This is our over. So all we do is we just bring the receiver over, both receivers over to one side. This inside guy is ineligible. So, I mean, this is a run play formation for us most of the time. We do have some pass plays out of it, but I like to call it just because I have an idea of what the defense is going to run against this. And then if I want them to call the strength to that side, I'm usually going to get like a 5 and a 3 to the play side.
Yeah.
And for midline, that's what I want. There's a lot of bad in some of these clips too. Like we don't get great blocking on the outside. But that's just part of coaching high school, you know. Just gets beat, a little receiver.
Yeah.
But positive play, and I'll take it. This slot here, I would like for his pitch relationship to be a little bit tighter. He gets a little bit too wide and too deep here. But if we get a good block there, it'd be a lot better. So this is kind of one of those mishaps that I was talking about with the snap. We were running regular zipper motion here with our play side slot, but it's a low snap. It gets pretty dangerous, especially down here. But I mean, our quarterback's a dude, man, and he somehow finds a way to get the pitch off.
That's tough.
I mean, that's the first down, you know?
Yeah, and I think this is a great example of quarterback doing all the right things, right? He goes down, gets the ball, but then immediately, if you watch his head, it snaps right up to the key.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a sign of him knowing what he's doing and being taught the right things, because you can clearly see his head go from the ball right to the key.
And he understands, like, what we're running.
Yeah.
And he understands what the defense is doing and what they've done throughout the game, so he knows what to expect.
Yeah.
He knows that DN's going to crash hard and try to kill him. So he picks it up right away. He's ready for that pitch.
That's a great play by a high school kid right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's coming back for us, so that'll be good. Yeah. Thank you.
Get somebody popping in there?
Yeah, my principal was actually out there. I'm in my classroom right now.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we probably get away with a little holding there, but I mean, if they don't call it, it's not holding.
Coach, when you're teaching your quarterback pitch, what are you teaching as the hand motion there? I've seen several different ways.
I like
what are you teaching there?
From the chin.
Okay.
I think it just makes for a lot smoother pitch. And I like him to flow away once he pitches the ball off, just so he can avoid some of that contact. He will get hit a lot of the time, and that's just part of it.
Are you teaching the thumb out method or like shooting the basketball method?
Honestly, I haven't really talked about any of that. I'm honestly just doing what he feels comfortable with doing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Matt, to answer your question, it's thumb out method, but
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's the what method?
It's thumb out.
Yeah, it's probably he's just thumb out.
Great clip for you right there.
From the chin.
Thumb out. Yeah.
Out, toe pointed at the guy, out, and just like Coach said, fall off of it. Right. And that's the most important thing, so you don't get murdered.
O-line coach, trying to put it into my own terms, simple guy terms.
I know. I'm just giving you. I'm going back 30 years and now thinking about that.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't get great blocking here. And then these guys, we don't get great blocking on the inside. These guys flow pretty hard. I think it's the Mike making the play here. He just kind of goes across, but getting that foot in the ground really does a lot, and it makes those guys overrun it, and it's hard for them to stop their momentum and make a play. I mean, there's three guys around him. He gets his foot in the ground and gets upfield and turns something.
It forces those high school kids to square up and make a real tackle.
Yeah,
instead of a shoelace tackle or something to the edge, forces them to make a real tackle against the grain.
And I think part of that is just, like you said, what you've taught that's okay with the kids. Like, hey, let's get 3 yards. So your kid's okay sticking that foot and saying, fine, I'll get 3 here, and that's all right. Instead of always looking for the big play. And I think that's, that's all part of the mentality. And right, it may end up being a big play. It may not. But I think that's where sometimes you don't get as many negatives because your kid says, I'm okay getting 3 here. Stick the foot. Let's go.
And, when they're young kids, they think they're fast enough to beat the defense to the outside, and you find out real quick that you're not. And so I'm telling them, get your foot in the ground and get as many yards as you can.
Yeah.
So we can live to run another play and stay on schedule. Again, this is our condensed set. This is actually a touchdown on the pitch. Again,
I love it. I love this out of the condensed. It's so good out of condensed here, Coach.
Yep. And so this kid here, his name is Lincoln Cure. I don't know if you heard that name before, but he actually was like the #1 tight end in the nation. Signed to K-State, but was just a stud, you know. Yeah. Playing free safety, but I mean he just flows too hard and can't make that play.
Yeah, I just there you
Okay,
go,
so
Matt.
the players are the players obviously practicing what you preach, putting the foot in the ground, getting upfield. I mean, you can see it here in the film, and that's one of the reasons for your success out of this.
Condensed set again. Quarterback keep this time. Dude making a play, but I mean, 3 yards.
Yeah. Is this guy a blitzer too that you end up midlining? Or am I just looking at they're doing like weird stuff. Gotcha.
I think they just didn't get lined up. They didn't get set quick enough.
I was about to say, if you guys midlined a blitzer like that, that's super impressive.
It probably wouldn't have happened on purpose. So,
Kyle, I feel like I would have put that free safety tighter up in the box.
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty good football player. Man, the speed with your quarterback operates, Coach.
Really is.
I know. I've been at 2 schools that ran triple option, using what they call the crow's foot or whatever drill. Anything that you implement there with your kids as far as hitting your landmarks?
Honestly, not a lot. I mean, they know who the dive key is. They know who the pitch key is. If the dive key attacks the dive, then he's going to attack the pitch key's outside shoulder and force him to make a decision. And, he knows that most of the time on our midline, it's going to be double crash and it's going to be a quick pitch. But he also knows that sometimes he's going to keep the ball and get some yards for us too.
Well, you guys operate with great speed. Great speed.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Coach. Rewind this. Where's 64 come from on offense here?
I think
backside guard.
I think he's backside scooping.
I mean, look at how far he gets out there.
Yeah, so we work backside scoops. I think backside scoops are what score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not on midline. I don't usually tell them to backside scoop just because if it is a handoff, I don't want that DN to crash down and make that tackle. That backside DN to crash down and make that tackle. But I knew in this game that it was mostly going to be just either a pitch or a quarterback keep. So I was just telling them to backside scoop. So, yeah, this is my backside tackle.
Oh, it's the tackle. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good block.
Safety.
I mean, this gives you a good picture of that snap.
I mean, this is a hell of a job by the defensive end coming down so quickly, and then the quarterback just reads it so fast.
Yeah, I mean, he could have almost kept it here too because he takes fullback. But
I think he doing a good job realizing he has no momentum at this point. Just give it to the guy with momentum, let him go.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that's where you got a kid that's special, right? He just understood in that moment, hey, I'm still flat-footed. Just flip it out here and let my dude run. He's got the edge.
Mm-hmm. breaks a tackle and scores for us in a big game that was close.
Yeah.
I think this is a great example for me right here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's trying not to get a block in the back.
I think the wing's doing a great job here. He just throws the pick though.
Yeah,
right? It's okay
I
to
mean,
throw the pick. He puts his hands up and sets a basketball pick.
that's what I coach him. That's what I coach them to do. You know, if they release inside and you can't get to their chest, just block them out. You know, set a screen.
I
Throw
love
your
it.
hands in the air so the refs can see you, and the slot back getting this pitch gets his foot in the ground, gets vertical.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, Coach. So we've seen the midline here. I'm going to ask you, I know we were going to talk about midline tonight, but I'm super interested in it. If you got a second, can you take me through zone dive real quick?
I can.
Okay.
I mean,
I know we're going off topic here. If we got to cut it, we can. I'm just curious about zone dive. I saw you wrote it up there, and I was like, oh, I like zone dive.
yeah. Let me see. I can show you some plays probably.
Just a few.
Kyle, you're
I'm just
hitting on
curious
all
how
my
you teach.
questions.
Well, you were going to ask that question?
Because I've never ran zone dive.
I've had it
And
explained
zone.
to me, but I've never run it either. So he said
So-
it, and I was like, oh, it's such a
I
teaser.
just want to see a
A lot
clip
of
of it.
people run it a lot differently.
Good Lord, look at all the flat land out there.
Yep, this is our
See forever.
This is our home field. So just a quick intro on zone dive. A lot of people, Flexbone teams, a lot of them will run their zone dive and they'll block it just like inside Veer.
Yeah.
And they'll insert that play side slot inside of that D end, and they're still leaving him unblocked. But they're handing it off every time. They're making it look like inside Veer, and then usually what it does, it lets the offense or the play caller see how they're playing that, and then they can get into their option phases after that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I just base block everything, so we're just gap scheming and everything with the play side inserts as well, and we're just handing it off. We're making it look like inside Veer, but we're not blocking it like inside Veer. And
correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know here. I watched a little bit of their film against Notre Dame. That's kind of how Navy does it too, right? Don't they just kind of base block it across?
I think so.
Yeah.
And even Army, I think they started doing that a lot. Like we run zone dive and QB follow the same way. And they do a lot of that quarterback follow because they had a stud at quarterback. So I think they're just they're just gap blocking everything.
Yeah. And
I'm a big time gap scheme guy, and I love, aces and deuces and those combo blocks up to backer. So I mean, most of the time when you play us, our first play of the game is going to be zone dive, and that's what this is. And I just
like
let
it.
my fullback go
11 yards right out the gate.
Yeah. Again, just another zone dive.
Yeah, see, I was always, Coach, I've heard about it, and I know it seems pretty simplistic, but I've never had anybody explain it to me, so I like it.
So this is actually a touchdown on the third play of the game, but this is actually belly. We run belly with a belly G, or we'll run we'll run belly with no pull. So I'll kind of tag it. I like the belly G a lot, but usually if I have a tight end to the play side, I'll just run it without a pull, just so that our kids don't get confused.
Coach, I had two big questions circled from the beginning, from your opening slide. I love belly G. This is freaking awesome. I love this. All right, so my question is, why run both inside Veer and belly? They're both attacking the B gap in my mind. Why run both?
I think so. Belly is more of a complement to rocket toss. Because if you see the
so
quarterback,
with your motion,
and you
yes.
see the quarterback, he's opening up, he's opening up, and he's pretty much, and you'll see it sometimes, he's faking that toss a little bit and then just handing it off. Whereas inside Veer, that's our true triple option.
No, I love that, Coach. I think that's a perfect explanation, right? We pair these two plays together. We pair these plays together.
Mm-hmm.
And, right, that's what offenses are built on, especially the wing tee, the flex bone, those things. They're based off things pairing with each other, right? Trap and all these other things. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
Ooh. Man, Coach,
here we go.
Some other time we may just want to hop on and just talk this stuff. Good Lord.
That's quarterback counter.
Game.
That's quarterback GT counter.
Love it.
I do want to show you this one clip because it's a way we run zone dive with some cool kind of stuff. Yep, right here. So we're just in our regular flexbone set, right? We're actually in our heavy formation. So I have two tight ends on the right side. So 4-man surface. And then all I do is I bring this backside slot across and he settles. And then I just run zone dive like this.
Oh my.
And he's the insert. Oh yeah.
Both of them are the insert. They got two wings there.
Double insert. No.
It almost becomes a single wing play. Almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're cousins. I mean, it's all related. Single wing tee, flex bone. It's
Coach,
all.
I'd be screaming into my play card right now if you ran that against me. I'd be like, "What is this crap?"
This is awesome.
Coach, I love it. First off, love the midline stuff. We haven't had an option coach on. Like I said, 30 years ago, I ran the midline when I was a little kid, so I always have an affinity for it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you getting into zone dive and some of this other stuff too. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We end every podcast with the same question. All right, may have nothing to do with football, but sorry, Matt, you got something?
I got a question before we get into that. I got.
Okay.
All right. So, Coach, backstory where I'm at right now. I've been at a school for the last 4 or 5 years. That's since the 70s, 80s. They've been a flexbone team, triple option, heavy outside veer, inside veer team. But parents didn't like that. Kids didn't like that. Wasn't the popular thing to do down here in Florida. Why aren't you in spread playing 7-on-7s and kids wanting to go elsewhere because it was, we're open transfer almost down here now.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, you talked about you going to your head coach or however it happened, you guys transferred to the flexbone. Why the change to the flexbone from whatever you were running before?
Yeah, so again, before we were actually a spread team. We ran on some power stuff, but mostly spread through the ball around a lot, went 3 and out a lot, gave teams so many extra possessions and we were averaging 4 wins a season and, right below 500 and just things weren't working. I have experience in the flexbone and head coach knew that. And then luckily our head coach he actually graduated from Harding.
Oh no.
Well, he graduated from there like in the 70s, like even before the flexbone was a thing. But I kind of, cheated a little bit and I was like, man, your alma mater runs it. Like, you got to let me do it. And he was all about it. And, the first season we got into it, we went 6-3. And it was just after that, it seemed like
here we go.
People started getting bought in and, you still have those people that are wanting you to throw the ball when you're gaining 7 yards of play. But
who gives a shit? They're in the stands. That's what I say.
Yep.
Absolutely. In one ear, out the other. So
Coach, all right.
Coach.
Now I have a follow-up question. Have you been to the famous Harding Flexbone Clinic?
I have, yeah. So I haven't been these last 2 years. I'm the head baseball coach too, so I just can't miss practice at that time.
Yeah.
And it's usually like it's usually like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type deal, and I just can't miss that much practice early in the season like that. But I did go 2 years ago, and I mean it's definitely worth it, worth the long drive. And I mean they're really good at what they do, and the way they practice is pretty much, unlike anybody else in the country.
Yeah, no doubt. I've heard a lot about it. Obviously, I've never been, but I have. When I worked in college football, I was on the end of a loss to Harding in the triple once upon a time at the University of North Alabama. So,
Oh yeah,
been there, seen it. Wasn't very fun. It was a cold day. We lost. It wasn't fun at all. I think we lost. We were going to win the conference championship if we won, and we did not win the conference because of that. So,
oh wow.
This is before they became who they are. This was the early stages of them doing it,
Yeah.
but still not a great day, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt, any other questions before we get to our final one?
That's all I had.
All right. Well, Coach, we ask every coach this. Can be a non-football answer, no problem. What's the most unique thing or different thing about your program that no one else does in the country? And it is a hard question. That's why we ask it.
That is a hard question. That nobody does.
Run the triple option.
Or maybe not a lot of other people do, right? Like, what's a unique thing that you guys do that not a lot of other people do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the short pistol is probably a big thing. You don't see a lot of teams that do stuff like that. I probably know of maybe one or two other teams in the state of Kansas that do it. I have some buddies. I have a buddy that does it in Oklahoma, and then I stole some things from some online clinic that I saw from some team in Illinois.
Yeah.
But that's probably the most unique thing about us. Maybe the no motion and the messing with the cadence type stuff. I think that's maybe not as unique, but you don't see it as much with these Flexbone teams that we do. And it's definitely something that's helped us. And I don't know how I thought about it, but it just kind of just made sense one day. I'm like, well, how about let's run it with no motion, and then let's run it out of first out.
Yeah. Especially because the way people react to motion against the option for good or bad. Sometimes people over adjust, sometimes people don't. Mm-hmm. But if you're just sitting there and you just snap it, then if their whole game plan was around adjusting to motion, they have to make an adjustment real quick on the field. So I totally agree.
It makes blocking a lot easier because the defense isn't attacking as hard, and we can really kind of initiate the block instead of just catching,
Yeah, it's true. You can get more of a static look as well. So I think it's a great point. Well, Coach, appreciate you coming on the board drill podcast. Thanks for reaching out. I thought this was great. I love the option stuff. So hooray for being the first option coach on the podcast. So that's a badge of honor you can wear there. And we'll be excited to watch you during the season and definitely check in with us and let us know how it's going. We want to know when you get over that hump and clip those teams this year. We want to hear about it. So let us know.
Hopefully this year we're going to be working hard to get there.
Love it. We'll be rooting for you, Coach.
Yes,
for me and for Matt and for Coach, we'll see you next time on the Board Drill Podcast.